Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Nitya Gaur Pramanande, Hare Hare. Hare Nam Sankirtan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mandi. Hare Krishna. I think so. Today we just get started with the recap. Ramcham Prabhu, if you wanted to.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, not pranam. All glory to Srila
Prabhupada. We'll just do a quick recap.
Driving, so yeah. So let's do the recap, and then we'll go from there. So, who's going to do that recap? I'm not ready. Sajanya Mataji, can you start recap, please?
That's okay. I think if she's not ready either, we'll just move ahead with the other verses.
Yeah.
So today I also wanted to keep it just a little quick and short. Just tired today, so is that okay, Ramcham Prabhu?
Prabhuji?
I said I'll just do a quick and short class today.
Sure, Prabhuji, please. As you wish, Prabhuji, sure. Please, take it over.
So let's do text 434. We had gone through 433 last time.
Yeah.
So
I will share it. Okay. So, yeah.
So 434 is Tadvidhi Panipadena Parikrishnena Sevaya.
Right.
Workout paused.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So start. Who is going to start? I see Vrinda. Vrinda, can you read this? 434, verse number 34.
Okay, Prabhu. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadyakshanti te gnanam jnaninastatvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so very much, Vrinda Mataji. So next is the verse number 35. And who is going to read? So anybody volunteer, please? Okay. Anybody? Tarun? Okay. So I will take it up. Yajgyatva punarmoham.
Yadgyatmana punarmoham.
Evam evasya pandava.
Vam yasyasi pandava.
Yena bhunti asesani.
Yena bhutani asheshani.
Dravyasya atmai athomai.
Drakshyasi atmani athomai.
And the translation by His Divine Grace of Acharya Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in the other words, that they are mine. Hare Krishna. So the verse number 36, how many verses will take today?
Maybe these two are fine, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. So, yeah, verse number 34. Is there
Okay.
anybody? Okay, Prabhu, go ahead. Yeah. Anybody would like to go before we start discourse? Sajanya Mataji, Ratipriya Mataji, Dilip Prabhu. Anyway, Prabhuji, start. I think.
Okay. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyanandana Shalakaya Chakshunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayam Dadhati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatrubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse is actually 434, a very significant verse. Tadviti pranipatena paripashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So up until this point, we had discussed, Krishna was explaining to Arjun the effects of transcendental knowledge. And so in text 34, Krishna describes to us, or to Arjun, for our benefit, of course, how to acquire this knowledge. What is the best way to acquire this knowledge? So in terms of why we should acquire or why we should perform sacrifices, Krishna has explained that the sacrifices enable us to gain transcendental knowledge. And we had also understood that there are many different sacrifices prescribed in the Vedas because there are 400,000 different types of human beings. And so there are different prescriptions for each. Krishna wants everybody to advance, and so he has given prescriptions according to the person's level of advancement. So then in this verse, in text 34, Krishna is making it very clear that the best way to acquire spiritual knowledge is by approaching a spiritual master. And he says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. But you can't just go to a spiritual master and say, okay, here is, it's not a barter system. It's not a university where you enroll and you say, okay, what is the fees? I'll pay the fees and you pay me and you teach me. It's not like that. So the method for approaching the spiritual master is also outlined here. The first instruction is how to approach the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively. That is the first instruction. Inquire from him, but submissively. Not like in a challenging way, not in an arrogant way, rude way. People are sometimes very puffed up, you see, depending on their qualifications. This is especially targeted towards people who might be thinking, oh, I'm such a big man in society. I'm so well off. I've got so much status and wealth and people know me. I'm so famous, But when you approach a spiritual master, the approach has got to be submissive. So Krishna says, inquire from him submissively, ask submissively. Why should we ask submissively? Because we are approaching a spiritual master with the bhavana that the spiritual master knows transcendental knowledge. I don't know it. Therefore, I need to inquire from him in order that I may be blessed with this information from him. So we inquire submissively. That is the right etiquette. And then the second instruction is, in addition to inquiring, you render service unto him. And the kind of service, again, it should not be arrogant service like, okay, Mr. Spiritual Master, what is your fees? I'll pay you so much and you tell me what the subject matter. It doesn't work like that. Instead, he says, render service unto him. That also should be done submissively. And the best way to render service to the spiritual master is by listening carefully to their instructions. The spiritual masters say, in our Sampradaya, the spiritual masters explain that there are three kinds of disciples. One is, the first kind is that the disciple listens carefully to the spiritual master, and even without being told, he understands what the spiritual master likes and he does that. Second type of disciple is one who follows the instruction once he has been told, okay, this is what I would like. Spiritual master says, okay, this is what I would like you to do like this, do like this, do like this, and the person follows that instruction faithfully. So the first type again was the person, without even telling, he understands and he does things. Second one is once he's told, he understands and he does things. And the third type is, despite being told, he still does what he or she wants. They don't listen to the spiritual master. So spiritual masters say that there are these three types of disciples. But the first type makes faster progress than the second type. The second type makes faster progress than the third type. The third type just keeps spinning their wheels. So Krishna says, render service unto him. And then a very important characteristic of the spiritual master is given. It says the self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So the spiritual master is not to be taken lightly. They have seen the truth. See, there is a difference between Gyan and Vigyan. Gyan means knowledge. Once you hear something, you know about it, okay, you understand it maybe. But Vigyan means somebody who has actually realized that knowledge. Somebody who has realized. And so the spiritual master is one who talks to us about knowledge about the Supreme because they have realized it also. It is not just knowledge that they have acquired through hearing, but they have also realized it. And therefore, this is a very, very special person. They are on a very special platform. And therefore, Krishna says that you inquire from such a spiritual master submissively, render service unto them, and they will in turn impart knowledge to you because they have seen the truth. They have realized the truth. And then in the next verse, Krishna says that what is the advantage of approaching a spiritual master and getting this knowledge from him? He says, having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never again fall into illusion. That means that the person, the disciple, will clearly understand what is our relationship with Krishna, how much we are trapped under the influence of Maya, and how we can come out of it. How to practice what the spiritual master is explaining so we can come out of this Maya. And he says, you'll never fall again into illusion, for by this knowledge you will see that all living and beings are but part of the Supreme. In other words, they are mine. So the disciple starts to develop the vision of Pandita. There was Bhagavad Gita says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavi Astini, Suni Chaiva Sapakecha, Pandita Samadarshana, that a Pandit is Samadarshana, he's equal in his vision, whether he's looking at a Brahmin or a Chandal or a cow or a dog eater or an animal, he sees the soul and he sees the super soul within those bodies. So he understands the difference between soul and body. And when one understands that difference, one starts acting on the platform of that knowledge. And therefore, when we understand we are spirit, soul, we are not this body, then you'll never fall into Maya again. Then every action that we perform will be aimed at pleasing Krishna, because we understand that we are spirit souls meant to please Krishna. And so we will act according to that understanding. And so this is the whole idea of these two verses. So Prabhupada in the purport, he actually says, and I'll just read that, the result of receiving knowledge from self-realized soul, or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all beings are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Krishna, and the sense of existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. The sense of existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. In other words, when somebody says, oh, where is God? Show me God. I don't believe God. I don't believe in Krishna. You know, I can do what I want. And I have everything that I have is because of my effort. Everything that I have is because of my my capabilities. There is no God. God is for weak people. Weak people who can't do anything themselves, and they say, oh, there's God and things like that. So that is Maya. And Prabhupada says Maya turns us away from Krishna, and then we consider ourselves independent of him. So the difference between the devotee mentality and the demoniac mentality is mentioned here. Devotee mentality is that I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am meant to serve Krishna. I am meant to please him. Demoniac mentality is I am an individual. Let me enjoy life to the maximum. There is no God. I will do what I feel like do. You see? So but this kind of thinking goes away when a person approaches a spiritual master, inquires submissively, renders service to him. In the purport, Prabhupada says, render service how? Like a menial servant. You see, even if we have to go bring a glass of water for the spiritual master, you get loads of blessings, and that's menial service. In fact, in India, if some well-off person approaches a guru, they will tell their servant, oh, please bring water. They'll consider it below their standard to be serving water or food to the spiritual master. But if a disciple, regardless of their status, serves the spiritual master humbly, realizing what will the person, why will a devotee serve the spiritual master humbly, like serving him food, bringing him water? They'll only do that if they feel that I am insignificant as compared to my spiritual master, and that this simple service will please him. This simple service will please him. And it's a demonstration of our surrender of our ego at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. We don't say that, oh, I'm too high status of a person to bring you food and water and things like that. These are menial services. So when a devotee crosses the boundary of this false ego and surrenders to the spiritual master and is happy to offer even these menial services, the spiritual master feels very pleased. He feels pleased because he sees the disappearance of the false ego. The disappearance of the false ego from the heart of the disciple. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that when the spiritual master sees that, then he imparts knowledge. Then he imparts realizations. to the disciple. So the key there is to render service, to render it humbly, and to inquire submissively. And that way we get a clear understanding from the spiritual master about the facts of Krishna. So in the purport, and I'll just, one last thing I'll read here, he says, one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with general spiritual understanding, with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from spiritual master, but one must get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. So, and then Prabhupada says, a bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and always renders service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. So the key there is that one should inquire submissively, and that pleases the spiritual master. Spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple, and he will bless him with the spiritual knowledge, the realizations, which cannot be had from anywhere. We may pick up the Bhagavad Gita and read it and read it and read it and read it, but the realizations will not come unless there is the blessing of the spiritual master. So the concept of surrender, inquiring submissively. So in chapter 4, text 34, this is the key message here is inquire from the spiritual master submissively, render service to him without false ego, and then the spiritual master will impart knowledge. And remember, in text 35, when Krishna says, remember, then what will happen? That such a person will then never fall back into Maya again. In other words, we will be able to cross over the ocean of nations, ocean of material existence, go back home, back to Godhead, and not have to come back into Maya in this material world again. So I'll stop here. I wanted to keep it quick, just open it up for questions or comments or thoughts that you may have, you want to share.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So please unmute and go ahead and ask if you have any comment, question, discussion. As you know, this verse is very, very important, as Prabhuji mentioned. Tadvedi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadakshindita jnanam jnananastattva darsana. So, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I was a bit away in the beginning, so I couldn't read the
No problem.
Yeah. But see, Prabhuji, when you say that we have to hear submissively and follow the instructions, I mean, I'm asking practically, different Siksha Gurus, different Diksha Gurus, you hear sometimes different for the same situation, for same scenario, you're different from different Gurus, different answers. Even in the lectures, it becomes a little confusing. That time, it didn't become a lot, but it did happen a few times. And I'm like, I'm lost. Now, what do we follow? Such questions come in mind. What should we do at that time, Prabhu?
You know, ideally, the instructions should all be the same because they are all, if they are based on what Prabhupada is writing, it should be the same. So sometimes maybe given the context or given the, I think the context makes a lot of difference. And so it's okay at that point if you feel some confusion compared to what you heard in the past or from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to just ask for clarification and explain that, okay, but I heard such and such point regarding what you're saying. And what you're saying is slightly different. So then you can seek clarification. And I think as long as you are asking respectfully, there should be no issue. The person will clarify.
The key, the confusion part is it shouldn't look like as if we are questioning. It shouldn't look like as if we are like who is correct arguing. So it becomes difficult to put it unless that person understands that it's not that I'm not saying that is only correct. Why you said like this, not like that. But ultimately, I'm not confused. I didn't get my message like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how you
Like,
ask.
yes,
How,
Prabhuji, even devotees sometimes, and I'm like honestly, practically saying,
yeah.
oh, no, we shouldn't do like this. I'm like, okay. And then, oh, this is how my Guru Maharaj said, this is how Siksha Guru said. I'm like, what should we do? Small things, Prabhuji. But I just felt like asking this question too.
Yeah, no, it's a very good question, Madhaji, and it's always important to ask for clarification and reach out to someone who you trust, and ask them that, okay, I am hearing two different viewpoints. What would you suggest? That kind of thing.
Yeah, otherwise it ends up as if we are arguing,
Right. And you don't want to, yeah.
It becomes sensitive, and then I'm like, it's okay.
Correct.
So this, like in this text, like how you explained, like 3 disciples, we have to hear something. Yes, that's all there. But ultimately, when we are trying to apply, when these things come, I think what you said is right. Just get it clarified. That's it.
Right.
But that shouldn't be mistaken by other person that as if I am.
You're not challenging them.
Yes, exactly. That's the right word. It's not my intention, then that's very difficult.
Right.
Sensitive. Yeah. I think when we are true to our heart, somehow Krishna takes care of the situation.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, Madhaji.
Thank you, Rosie.
Sure, you're welcome, Madhaji. So, Ratipriya Madhaji, your hand is raised.
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu, thank you for the lovely class. Prabhu, my question is that you inquire I don't know if my question is actually related to the class, but like you inquire, 1 minute, you inquire submissively and you follow the instructions of the Guru. But after that, how do you know if the Guru is pleased or not pleased? Actually, I have a friend who keeps asking me this. And I told her that you go and ask the Guru, but always it's not possible to go and ask the Guru, are you pleased, are you not pleased? So then how do we know? I just wanted to ask you, Prabhu.
I mean, the Guru, as Prabhupada says in that purport, the Guru is by nature very kind towards the disciple. So I think one thing to keep in mind is that if you're making a sincere effort, you can rest assured that the Guru is pleased. Even if you cannot approach them and ask them, and of course, you can ask them. That's ideal.
Right.
But if you cannot, I think your own sincerity with which you're doing something, you can rest assured that the Guru will be pleased with that sincerity.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Madhavi. Hare Krishna, Muksanga Prabhu.
Shila Prabhupada, Dita Sangadas. Sorry, Prabhu, I'm driving. If there is a disturbance, please excuse me.
No problem.
So, Prabhu, Tadviti Pranipadena Pariprasnena Sevaya Upadekshiti Tegnanam. So, one who has seen the truth, right? So, he'll impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So, can you define what is the truth in one sentence? And this is the 4th chapter, right? Somebody reads this 4th chapter.
Yeah.
And if he goes to a guru and if he sees the truth, then the other 14 chapters of knowing Krishna, would that be redundant? Because he says, okay, if the truth really means that Krishna is the absolute and we are the part and parcel of Krishna, so that is the truth, then what is the need of other chapters?
Right. So the truth, of course, is, as Prabhupada says, you described it, I mean that, that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is the absolute. Now, while that is the truth in one sentence, Bhagavad Gita, you see, the first 6 chapters talk about karma, first 5 talk about karma, last 6 talk about gyan, and the middle 6 talk about bhakti.
Yeah.
So there are 3 different mindsets that are basically encapsulated in these sets of 6 chapters. And so when we say that the spiritual master can give you the knowledge because he has seen the truth, he can tell us, but we won't be able to grasp it, and we won't be able to understand the difference until we go through the full Bhagavad Gita and understand the difference between karma and gyan and bhakti. So that is why, while the statement is given here in one line, and you can say, now I don't need any more information. True. But to realize this and to understand where we stand, it's necessary to go through the full Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome. Yeah. I think I saw a quick hand.
Yeah. So Jai Ganesh Prabhu had the hand raised.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question on the same text. Is there any difference between first thing is this text is like before initiation that we are getting the information from the guru, or is it after initiation we are receiving this information or this knowledge from the guru?
The process for receiving knowledge starts when you start hearing, which could be before initiation also.
Okay.
But the exchange becomes even more effective after you take initiation, and the reason for that is that when you surrender to the guru and take initiation, then our heart becomes more receptive, because we have surrendered basically our reservations, our ego, and we have accepted that I need guidance. And when the guru gives you initiation, then they are also committed to ensuring your spiritual progress. So that is why there is a special bond that is created through that process. And that's why the transfer of information then becomes more effective after initiation.
Yeah, okay, Prabhu. And the question is, will there be any difference in understanding this philosophy or Bhagavad Gita through satsang or through other devotees, through disciples of gurus, and the information or this knowledge received from a spiritual guru?
It's a combined process in the sense that we don't kind of limit ourselves to only listening to a class by one's guru, right? Because there are opportunities. See, the thing is, the topic is knowledge of Krishna. When we discuss Bhagavad Gita like we're discussing now, the topic is Krishna, and Krishna is unlimited. So the more we hear about him, the more we learn. It's not as if Krishna is finite, and so there's only so much that you have to learn. And once you hear it from, let's say, the guru, then there's no need to hear anybody else. That's the beauty actually of Krishna. He's infinite. So every time we read Bhagavad Gita, you go start to finish, you start over again, you read through again, you get more realizations. You read a third time, you get even more, fourth time, get more realizations. Depending on your situation in life and point in time, there are so many more realizations that we get the more we hear. So I think there's always value in hearing.
Okay,
hope-
Prabhu. Can I also understand, or interpret like the mood of surrender? Once we get the mood of surrender, though we are not initiated or as to any guru,
Sure.
that point, like from that point, can we consider like we started connecting with the devotees? I mean, are we in a position to get that information as realized knowledge? Will that be correct statement?
To get
Because
to get the information as realized knowledge?
Yeah. Can that be realized knowledge from the neophyte standpoint?
There's definitely knowledge that one gets. So I guess if I understand your question, you're saying if your mood is of surrender, then will you get the knowledge or will you get the realizations, right? Is that your question?
By hearing from different devotees, different disciples of Guru, different gurus,
Sure.
or any lectures. Yeah.
Yeah, you will definitely get knowledge and you'll definitely get realizations. Because like you said, if your mood is one of surrender, the more you're surrendered, the more you will get out of any class that you hear. Because any class that you hear, it's all about Krishna. So if your mood is of surrender, you will definitely get a lot out of it, no doubt.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome, Prabhu. Very, very nice questions. Anybody else? Any other?
Just,
Okay, Prabhu.
just wanted to little.
Prabhu, one more question.
Yes, Dave.
Since we have devotees like who are initiated from the gurus, yeah, I would like to hear more about like what other than the knowledge we get from the guru, what other benefits we get like when we connected to the parampara by initiation from the guru of bona fide sampradayas.
What extra benefit do we get from initiation? Is that the question?
Yeah, what other benefits other than the knowledge knowledge that is mentioned in this text? What other benefits, like because since you already experienced the connection and the benefits you are receiving from your guru, so can you share?
Sure. Yeah. So one benefit is that when you go through the process of initiation, the spiritual master, through the yajna, the initiation yajna, cleanses you of your karma. You see, so the karma is nullified, and it's your second birth, basically. First birth is the biological birth, and initiation is considered the second birth. And the spiritual master, of course, is the father, and the Vedas, the knowledge, that is what is given to us. So that is it's considered our second birth, and because then the karma from the previous lifetimes and birth, etc., is cleansed. And then the second benefit is that by taking initiation, by surrendering to the spiritual master through bona fide sampradaya, you get the shelter of the entire acharyas, the entire hierarchy of acharyas in the sampradaya. They're all there for us. They're all there to help us make spiritual progress. So not only do you get a spiritual father, you get a spiritual grandfather. So like for us, our spiritual grandfather is Srila Prabhupada. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj becomes a spiritual great-grandfather. And so this way you get the blessings of the entire parampara. And these are, I mean, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, Gorakshodas Babaji, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, their spiritual identities are mentioned in various books. And so these are people from the spiritual world, so is Prabhupada. And so we get their shelter and their blessings, which is invaluable. So these are some of the benefits of initiation.
Thank you, Prabhu. The karma you mentioned is like prarabdha or even Ajita karma as well?
It's your entire karma.
Entire karma.
So, of course, I mean, the important thing is that going forward, then one should not keep incurring more karma. But because we are not fully cleansed, we do certain things that cause us to incur karma, you know. But as far as the spiritual master is concerned, they do everything to kind of cleanse all of our past karma.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, one more question, if it is not taking more time.
No problem.
After the initiation, what are the commitments one should follow? Like I understand like 4 regulative principles, minimum 16 rounds of chanting, and no offenses, the 10 offenses. Is there anything in addition to that we should follow after the initiation?
No, those are the main. The standard instructions and the core instructions. And of course, in addition to that, I mean, people, based on an individual's desire and capacity, you know, you preach, you do as much as you can. But these are the core instructions that one follows.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Prabhu. It's all good questions, and obviously they demonstrate you're a very serious student of the scriptures. All right, Prabhu, I think.
Yeah, good things. So just wanted to, like comment on that. Jaganas Prabhu asked the first question and second question. I wanted to give something. In the guru, when we say so, there will be 3 different kind of gurus, like first Path Pradashak Guru, and second Siksha Guru, and then Diksha Guru. So depending upon like when we talk now actual Guru, so that is the Diksha Guru only. But even the first time when someone guides to connect with the Krishna consciousness, and they are also Guru, partial Guru. So Path Pradashak Guru and the Siksha Guru who teaches us, like Prabhu is giving the instructions. So it's a part of kind of spiritual master who is giving the Siksha. So depends, like, and always Prabhupada is the Param Guru. So even though if at that point if someone is not having Guru, so these all are the Guru, and by that way the instruction can be received. And second question was like just to add the Shastric reference in that, like if the instruction is heard from any other spiritual master, any other disciples or anybody, so in the Bhagavatam there is a sloka that is Tadvag Visargo Janataga Biplavo Yasmin Pratisloka Avadhya Vatapi Namane Anantasya Yato Akintani Yat Shravanti Gridanti Gayanti Sadhava. So even though if something which is received or composed which is incorrectly, and it is the glory of Krishna, Shravanti, then Gayanti speaking, hearing, speaking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, and taking the heart, whatever the instructions coming about Krishna, even though it is incorrectly composed and all, and it is glorifies the Krishna. So those all, like the pledges to the Krishna, and that is the Grinanti Sadhava. So that's the pledges to the Krishna. It keeps in the heart of the Krishna. So that's the I wanted to add, like in any instructions, anywhere from instructions come, but that is Krishna get pledge out of from that. But there is the one Pivat Bhagavat Rasmalayam Muhuraha Rasik Bhuvi Bhavika. So if it is coming from directly from a spiritual master, so then that ras in that level of the degree of the releasement will be more and more. So yeah, Prabhuji, these are things I wanted to comment on. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhuji, then I think we'll take leave.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
close that the call. So let's do the Vaishnava Pranam mantra.
Kalpadrupesha kripasindhubhya
Hariभ्यो नमो नमः।
Namo Namah. Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Thank you so
Jai.
very much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful session here.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Guru.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.